I was expecting way worse than what we saw.
Yeah.
That isn't to say it was good.
Same for me.
That isn't to say it was good. It was, this movie was saved. That's what it was. This movie was saved.
And who was it saved by?
Dane DeHaan.
Dane DeHaan.
Everybody, Dane DeHaan. You want to start it?
If a thing is gone and you want to ride on, Dane DeHaan.
But what just left me?
Dane DeHaan.
I can't find my pants.
Dane DeHaan.
Dane DeHaan saved this movie so much.
Who's Kirk's greatest enemy? It's Dane DeHaan. I'm not, well, it's actually
it's Khan, but
it's Khan, but
it's Dane DeHaan. Dane DeHaan, his presence in this movie takes this movie from being, why am I sitting through this crap, to, oh, so that's why I'm sitting through this crap. His performance as Harry Osborn.
It's like a combination of Christian Slater for one.
Christian Slater. I detect just a hint of Willem Dafoe, just a little bit.
Well, that's most likely because
because of past performances.
And I mean, if you have to borrow from a performance for your role, Willem Dafoe is not worst.
You could do worse.
You're not scraping the barrel of Willem Dafoe.
No, you are not. His performance as Harry Osborn is one of the most surreal takes of the character that I could possibly dream up of.
Yeah.
He plays him like a spoiled rich kid, including like...
Which he kind of is.
Well, he is, but it is such a weird performance to sit through. He's
like Christian Slater, Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah, a little bit of Macaulay Culkin. He looks like Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah, and then there was a third one in there, other than Willem Dafoe. It was Nicolas Cage.
A little bit of Cage.
There was a little bit of he was caging.
He was caging quite a bit.
He was caging.
Well, it was you know what it was? It was his upper teeth. He would just jut out his upper teeth like this. And he would talk like this, with a creaking, whiny voice. Well,
what were you doing, man? The other day, I was washing my hair, getting it done. Got my hair did.
There's this one great scene where Peter Parker's talking to Harry Osborn, and Peter asks, like, oh, did you style your hair? And, fucking Andrew Garfield is one to talk about styled hair.
Fucking Andrew Garfield. Oh, God, this was my first movie, I think, with him that really started.
He's, we'll get to him.
Yeah, but damn right we'll get to him.
But he's talking with Harry Osborn, and he goes, you styled your hair, and this is supposed to be a joking scene. This is supposed to be a joking scene where he basically goes, yeah, I got a guy to do my styling and another guy to blow dry my hair.
The other guy to hold my balls. I had to choke myself. I was laughing so hard.
Opulence.
Oh my God.
I has it.
This was a hilarious movie.
This was, like, every time he was on screen, like, he would just deliver his lines in the weirdest,
haphazardly
yet kilter way possible.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought that Kiefer Sutherland was going to have the standout bad performance of the year, but no, it has been usurped by who? Dane DeHaan. Dane DeHaan. Dane DeHaan. Everybody, Dane DeHaan. Nobody rocks the emo comb over like Dane DeHaan.
That flip ain't emo, it's Dane DeHaan. Cooler than the Fonz, Dane DeHaan.
But another stand-up performance from this movie was Jamie Foxx, and only because he was so horribly miscast in this movie.
Oh, yes. Speaking of comb-overs.
Who wants to see Jamie Foxx with the world's worst comb-over? I do. He was in Django. Oh, man. This motherfucker didn't even know who Jamie Foxx was.
No, I know who Jamie Foxx is.
But you just didn't know him by his name.
I know who Jamie Foxx is. It's just that I never knew that he was in this, even though I've seen the CG Electro takes of him.
His Dr. Manhattan
I just didn't... I don't know. I just didn't think he would be in this movie.
Yeah, because you didn't see him as
after
normal.
Django,
Yeah, because you didn't see him as human in the previews. But
yeah, I didn't know who it was. I didn't care really because I didn't care about this movie. I didn't do any research on the movie. I just let it happen.
He is terrible.
He is pretty bad.
He is terrible in this movie, especially when he's human, because he's playing like this, like a stereotyped nerd with like a shut-in who just he's basically
he's not the worst.
He's not.
But for Jamie Foxx,
for Jamie Foxx, like this turn is like he's trying to do what Dane DeHaan is doing and being kind of, really nasally congested. Ugh.
It's like I don't know. Dane DeHaan was catching, people were trying to, and it's like it was getting on people. It was just wafting off of him and just.
Yeah, I know. It was.
Some stars, that's just like their charisma affects other people, and it's starting to get to me too. And
so you're
gonna see me, cutting my hair and flipping it over pretty soon.
I liked that they did on the set, like when he was acting opposite Jamie Foxx. He was like, "Are you ready to shoot, Jamie?" It's like, "Yeah, I'm ready to shoot." Wait, what's happening to my voice? You're catching it. It's the gift I bestow upon you. You were becoming another Dane DeHaan.
But yeah, that was trifling bad.
That was a sit, but it's not a funny bad performance. Not like Dane DeHaan's. It was like this. What the fuck is he doing in this movie? Doing this. And he plays like this shut-in character who loves Peter. He loves Spider-Man because he saved him one day.
It was so forced.
I know. He saves him, and he's like, Spider-Man was my best friend. He said he needed me.
I mean, it's one of the you figure Spider-Man has those people. He saves a lot of frickin' people, and he's gonna have some of those crazy people that are just gonna latch onto him, start glomming onto Spider-Man, but.
They don't get superpowers.
They don't get superpowers,
but this guy.
This is what happens when that guy gets superpowers, and
he turns into Electro and basically becomes the lackey of. Well, here's the thing. I think
the spirit of an eel went into him too.
Yes, he falls into a vat of electric eels.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. And is transformed into Electro. The thing about it, though, the thing about Harry Osborn in this movie, when he transforms into the Green Goblin or
Hobgoblin,
they never
whatever.
really they don't name him. They don't say.
Another problem I have with this movie is how long it takes to get to some of the action.
Oh yeah.
And sitting through the fucking Peter Parker and Gwen dialogue was so hard.
It
really was so bad.
It really was.
Just dragged.
It really, really freaking was. There were so many goddamn problems with this movie. The most of which is, like, almost everyone in the cast is awful. The only people in the cast who are not awful is Dane DeHaan, because he's legitimately entertaining.
Yeah.
Like, not in the most sincerest way possible. Like, you're watching this performance like you're watching, like, I don't know, Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze.
Exactly.
You're just like, okay.
Well, isn't that a predicament?
Isn't that the question
question
of the day? That's going to replace, like, the Bane voice as my favorite villain voice.
I know. It's a little bit harder to do than Bane, though. You have to be a little more flippant, a little more random with your phrases.
You gotta jet out your teeth and creak your voice.
You gotta jet out your teeth. You gotta get a little roof.
So, besides him, maybe Emma Stone. Emma Stone was. She brought to the table her usual charismatic performance. But the problem with her is that she is weighted down by this goddamn script that has to have her make lovey-dovey eyes and cooing cute dialogue with Andrew Garfield. And even though you can believe that they are a real-life couple, you can believe that they are in love with each other on screen.
Oh, I had no problem with that.
You had no problem. You could believe that. You could believe that. But they're not the kind of couple that you want to see on screen. They're the kind of annoying-ass couple who are constantly arguing with each other in public space. You just want to shut the fuck up and just enjoy your date and leave the rest of us out of it. Those kind of couples. They're that kind of couple on screen, and it is probably that is the boat anchor of this movie. Yeah. That is the boat anchor that this movie cannot save itself from. It's like the action sequences, what few there were all right.
Decent.
They were decent. I mean, they're CG fests. You're not really invested in what's happening. Certainly,
the web slinging scenes weren't as fake as I thought they might be. It was an improvement. There was the only small problem with that is that I didn't give a shit. Mm-hmm. I don't care about the web slinging scenes. I don't.
I mean, there were some creative shots with the web slinging, and when you're making a Spider-Man movie, that's your bread and butter. You want to be able to have Spider-Man just freely fly within the city, from building to building.
And that's a part of Spider-Man. I understand that. I guess that at this point I'm just kind of tired of it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just me. I'm tired of Spider-Man movies in general.
But I'm glad that when they had to hit the marks, in those regards they hit it at least acceptably. Yeah. Like the action scenes are not unfollowable. Although there was one time when, during the first Electro fight, I lost track of who was hitting who. But other than that, the action scenes were perfectly serviceable.
Yeah, sure.
Perfectly serviceable. They had some pretty solid choreography, and dare I say it, it had some pretty good use of CG, especially with the Electro fights.
Absolutely.
I mean, the
dematerialization of him and the reforming of it.
Yeah, the dematerializing and the electric effects are at the very least not something I've seen a dozen times before.
Dubstep attacks.
Oh yeah, the dubstep. Every time he hits an electrode, a power node, he makes like a dubstep sounding like.
I found the whisper rap song a little.
Oh yeah, when he's going
off kilter, it was just.
Yeah, I know.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, is this going? So this is going on his head, or is this like a theme song that they made for Electro? Oh, whatever.
During the first encounter, when Electro's still going "What's happening to me?" where he's basically Thomas Hayden Church as the Sandman.
Yeah. They hate me. They shot me. They hate me.
They tried
to kill me.
They lied to me.
They disbanded me.
It sounds like a Tim Burton rapper. No, not Tim Burton rap. The Danny Elfman rap. But it was he was in the middle of Times Square, and he's siphoning power because that's all he realizes that I need electricity to live.
He's not a deep villain. He's not a very complex character.
He's not.
Electrode is.
Electro. He's not. They didn't try to make him.
As Electro.
He does not. I'm glad that the movie did not try to turn him into a deep villain. I mean, I think the fault of the Spider-Man movies, at least these current crop of Spider-Man movies, is that they're trying to make Peter Parker more interesting, but not realizing what makes Peter Parker Peter Parker. They think that in order to make him interesting, they have to make him not Peter Parker.
Well, they have to, change him. They have to.
He cannot be. He cannot be dorky. He cannot be, just a guy who he can't be like a sad sack. Well, he could be emo, but he can't be. Life continues to dump on him, and
I always thought the Tobey Maguire performances were.
They were tone
not
perfect.
Bad. I thought they were pretty.
They were tone perfect to the character.
It felt like Spider-Man to me. But this was. Can I talk about him now?
Go ahead. Comparing Spider-Man's with Tobey Maguire, you may have some problems with this performance overall. At least he was tone perfect to what Peter Parker is supposed to be.
Garfield.
But Andrew Garfield is way too pretty to be.
What?
Way too pretty looking.
Pretty? Really?
Well, he pretty looking. I'm trying to look it through this like a teenage girl's eyes because he looks like Edward Cullen. Andrew Garfield looks like what Edward Cullen, from Twilight.
Really?
Yeah, that same kind of haircut, that same kind of.
Edward Cullen, if his face was injected with French fry batter, and his nose got stomped on by Rhino about 500 times.
Speaking of Rhino, he bookends the movie.
His face, I'm sorry, man. It's not the worst face I've ever seen, but
so
his hair combined with his long pencil fucking neck, and then his weird ass, just rooty and oily, puckered face with his hair flipped up. Fucking ridiculous hair. And he's like a zit. He's like a giant zit. I want to just pop, Just pop his freaking head like a zit.
So this hatred, I think, is actually kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Excuse me. I don't think that this is coming from like a logical source. This is kind of like I gotta do it. I just gotta.
I'm sorry, but it was. The whole image was just making me see red almost,
But no, I get that. Like some actors' faces you just don't agree with, and I'm trying to look at Andrew Garfield.
But the thing is that his acting.
Oh yeah, his acting
just went right with it.
Yeah, like Andrew Garfield
was just as grating as he was appearing.
He was insufferable as Peter Parker.
The whole thing. I mean, they could have changed his hair. I don't know, his makeup is something. There was just the ratio of the face, neck, hair was,
and then the performance.
I'm not going to keep going on about it. It's just the performance was horrible.
This was a movie that is totally dependent upon the performances.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't care about his looks if he was, he was not. Yeah, I wouldn't care if his acting was any good at all in this movie. It just wasn't. The whole time you're sitting through these insufferable, half-assed groans of dialogue. Hey, how you doing yesterday? I was good. That thing you do with your nose. We gotta establish some ground rules.
Yeah, like the scenes where he is trying to make lovey-dovey talk with Emma Stone.
And laugh at you.
Is where this movie just becomes nigh unsittable. This is one of those movies where you just kind of want to leave the theater if you have to listen to these goddamn characters talk about how pretty they think each other are.
That thing where you flip your hair, it's kind of cute. I can't sit and go out here and do that.
But I don't know, like this weird irrational. That's the word I was looking for. The weird. That's the word I was looking for. Irrational. It's like this irrational hatred towards Andrew Garfield. Like I'm on with the side with you as far as like his performance. Like his
irrational.
It is irrational. I mean, like when you want to pop a guy's head like a zit, I think that's kind of irrational. I'm sorry. But like I said, I'm on the same side with you as far as the performance goes. Like he was wrong in this role. I don't care how much of a Spider-Man fan he was when he was growing up, or at least how he claimed to be one. I don't know for sure, but he is not right for this role. I don't know who would be right for this role, but I do know that Andrew Garfield, pretty boy actor he is, or at least what he is purported to be, is not Peter Parker. I think the big albatross across Peter Parker's neck as a character is the fact that his whole crux and appeal is the fact that he's supposed to be relatable. But everything that happens to Peter Parker is completely unrelatable. Like, we're supposed to relate to a guy who gets bitten by a spider and gets Spider-Man powers. Okay, I can, remove that from the equation because how else would he be a superhero?
Yeah.
All right, get that. But then he gets like two smoking hot girlfriends. He's also a genius that invents all the gadgets that he makes. That is not relatable. That's wish fulfillment character building. I mean, that's like you're supposed to relate to Peter Parker, but relate to him as in the fantasy empowerment that we think that you share. And at that point, it's like, what? Well, that's not being relatable. That's just making a power fantasy. I mean, sure, you're making a power fantasy that a lot of people share, or at least a lot of nerds share. And let's face facts, a lot of male nerds. Well, I mean, I don't know. I can't I don't pretend that I speak for all you female nerds out there, but I don't think that your power fantasy is being a geeky dude who gets spider powers. Maybe you're be a geeky girl who gets spider powers, but
it's all right. It's all right.
Or maybe you do. All right, I don't. All right, I'm not here to speak for you. All I will say is that for all the attempts that Marvel has made to make Peter Parker the relatable character that he is always touted to be, everything they have done has made him unrelatable. It goes back to like that Marvel versus DC bullshit about like how DC creates like mythic superheroes the way that we're supposed to look at like in the way like Greek mythology. Like Greek mythology, we're not supposed to relate to Hercules. We just want to hear what Hercules does during the 12 labors. And that's reason enough to want to be invested in the story because these are feats that no normal human being can do. And I think that's also where a lot of DC movies go wrong when they try to humanize the characters. Or humanize Superman or really humanize Batman. At a certain point, Batman is supposed to be Batman. Like, we get it, like, he misses parents. So it's like, yes, we get it, he's becoming the knight. But at the end of the day, I want to see him throw a goddamn batarang. I want him to punch the bad guys. I don't want to see him brood in his cave day after day, movie after movie, scene after scene.
But Spider-Man.
But Spider-Man. But going back to Spider-Man, is they're laboring under this.
Yeah.
They're going so far in the other direction that you don't care whether or not Peter Parker saves the day or not.
I just didn't like this Spider-Man. I didn't... Look. Okay. Andrew Garfield, this was like the first movie I've seen, I think, of him, like I mentioned before.
I don't remember him in any other movie.
I can't remember. I'm trying to put this appearance thing aside. Mm-hmm. Some people, they just do that to you, you know?
Yeah, like it's not a...
Sometimes you just want to slap a bitch out, you know?
Sometimes someone's face just bothers you.
Sometimes. But man, I mean, it's just... the hair. But the acting...
The acting was, like we said...
I felt that was the weakest point for this movie, was his acting. Yeah,
his acting... It doesn't help that the material that he's given is completely
garbage.
Yeah, it is. When he's talking
even when he's in the suit.
Yeah, when he's talking with Gwen Stacy, it's always like I said. We go back to it's a sit, but I will give it the movie credit when he's like trying to have banter with the villains. Sometimes he pulls it off, but it's hit and miss.
Yeah.
I mean, he's had better banter with villains than he's ever had in any of the Spider-Man movies I've seen. Or at least more memorable.
Maybe.
And, I'm not going to slight the movie against that. And I understand that quips and banter is, part of it.
They certainly, went back to a more comic kind of goofiness with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
When he dropped all those little bottles and he was trying to pick them all up.
Yeah.
That was pretty ridiculous.
During the opening action scene when the Rhino is stealing something that we never find out why he wants it. He just wants it.
What it is.
All we know is dangerous if it's leaked. And by the way, Paul Giamatti as the Rhino is... oh my god.
The
casting was all over the place. And Paul Giamatti, I've read an interview where he was talking about his time on Spider-Man 2. He said, I like playing the Rhino. I got to ham it up really good. So he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
So he just puts on this comically thick Russian, like, Eastern European accent. And he just, Spider-Man! I am Rhino!
So we want to fight now?
Yes!
You deliver those lines.
Yeah, Paul Giamatti knew what the hell he was doing, and I wish he was in this movie more as the Rhino.
That would have been fun.
Yeah, that would have been more fun. But no, this movie decides to have him be like this.
Oh God, Dane DeHaan and him, man. Put those two together.
It's like,
and then just let them loose on the fucking movie.
Like, just
let them go.
Like you with the faggy haircut. Why you talk funny? You're one to talk. Rhino. You sound like you're trying to sell me a Yugo. I am! But the movie starts off with him like hijacking the truck, and then of course Spider-Man stops him. We don't see him again until the very end of the movie, where the Oscorp, the evilest company in the world. I swear, like, Umbrella is less insidious than Oscorp in these movie series. They decided to move ahead with basically they're prepping a Secret Six movie.
Oh, are we doing the synopsis now?
Well, I'm talking about right now. I'm talking about Giamatti. So we don't see him until the very end when they basically tease the Secret Six, and like in the background they see the Rhino suit, and they say like, "Do we have a candidate for our program?" And says like, "Yeah, we got that Paul Giamatti Russian dude. Yeah, we'll put him in the Rhino suit. He'll be fine. He's up for anything. Just give him a donut. He'll just kill bitch." And so the movie ends with Spider-Man in mid-fight with the Rhino, and it is the most hilariously bad rotoscope shot with Paul Giamatti in this gigantic Rhino.
You see his little head popping out of the chest of the Rhino suit.
You see Paul Giamatti's fat tattooed head in the middle, like, "Hello, Spider-Man. How you doing?
I'm right here."
But it's like the rest of the movie, the computer generated effects and the special effects were, not bad. They were, at least they ranged from serviceable to good. But then that shot happens, and it's like, did they just give up? It's like, fuck it, Photoshop Paul Giamatti's head. The only way they could have made it worse is if they just like skipped frames and they just did it. They just did like a Canada and South Park game where they just took Paul Giamatti's flappy head and make him talk. "Hello, Spider-Man.
Yes.
How are you?"
Yes, he's a Canadian.
The reason why I think we dragged out the synopsis of the story was the fact that when you really think about it, there
wasn't much of one. You didn't really care about it.
You didn't care about it at all. It's just more.
I was just like, when's Dane DeHaan gonna come back and start doing it? He's just start Dane DeHaaning again.
Dane DeHaan.
Dane DeHaan and whatever.
Dane DeHaan.
Oh my god, the elevator scene.
Oh god.
She's Gwen's in the elevator, and then work camera, and there's Dane DeHaan in his Count Orlok jacket.
He's like,
"Hey.
You come around here often." God.
I was just, at that point, I was just bursting out laughing. I couldn't hold back anymore. I didn't care.
Oh, man. I'm sorry, but before we get to the synopsis, our entertainment of this movie started from the very moment we got our ticket, because we were right behind this cadre of Mexican teenagers who could not shut the fuck up about going to see Spider-Man. And so
those I was so frightened that we were going to be stuck with them.
Here's the
man.
Oh God, they were just like,
there was no one. No one was putting them, into whipping them back into shape.
There was
no chaperone there telling them to.
Well, there was one.
There was one, but she left.
I know, like, what happened?
She, like, I was like, all right, guys, you'd be good.
So there's, like, this cloud of Mexican teenagers to preteens, and then they're just screaming over each other about when they're going to see Spider-Man. And then this like, barely taller than the Mexican woman just does one of these, I can't do it, but he did one of these to get them all to, like, hey, look at her. And it is so shrill, and she did it right next to my ear, and it nearly deafened me.
Yeah, he turned his ear to her right at the perfect time to get him.
Oh, God, that was...
If you had the Venom suit on, man, it would have ran screaming.
Oh, God. Man, if I was the Venom symbiote when that happened, I would have gone running to the hills.
Yes.
But she basically says, you're going to see the 6:15 showing. You're like, here's the money, fuck you. And she runs away.
She goes off to do something better than see Spider-Man.
So they all buy their tickets, and then it's just me and Gabe. And I go up to the ticket booth, and I look at the ticket counter, and I just go... 2 for the 7 o'clock showing. And she looks with a knowing wink in her eye. She says, good choice.
Yeah, Spider-Man, good choice.
No, that's 7 o'clock showing. Good choice. As opposed to that 6:15 showing that they're going to go see.
Still. Yes.
Still. So it was about an hour before the show starts because, we figured that this movie was going to be packed. And there was a good crowd to see it. I was expecting more, but perhaps everyone who was going to see this movie had already seen it through midnight screenings and for earlier matinees. We were basically waiting for the movie to start outside of the theater, and what I just discovered about the movie patrons at my local theater is that they do not know how to count.
No, they don't.
They are looking at their tickets and they're trying to find like their Spider-Man.
So Ben had to do some directing traffic in the.
So what I wound up doing
lobby.
was I was just hanging outside of our theater and I was just basically directing theater patrons to their.
Someone walks up to the theater 14, looks up at the number, looks down at his ticket, kind of does a quizzical look, and he's like, "Is it where's theater 14?"
And I went,
and it says 14 up there, and I'm like, "Ugh." He's like, "You're a grown man."
I know, like, what was worse is the ones that were 12 and 13. Like ours was in theater 12.
The Spider-Man 2 audience.
Yeah, the Spider-Man 2 audience, exactly. The Spider-Man 2 showing that we were going to see was in the theater 12, and the 6:15 showing was in the one right next to ours, theater 13. And everyone was going into theater 12. It's like, wait a minute, the movie's already playing, and then it's like, it's theater 13. Isn't this 13? And then they look at it.
They look at the freaking number, and then they go in. They go into the theater.
They can't tell the difference between 12 and 13.
And we're like,
I just...
And a few seconds later, they come out. And then they look up. Something ain't right here.
No.
Where is it?
It's like 12. Since when was that 13?
Yeah.
And then I just kind of
How do things work?
I did one of these. I just went like, and then look. Oh!
Why didn't you say so?
Like, all I gotta do is turn my head 15 degrees to the right. Since when can I do this? Oh, wow. Oh, God, I'm getting dizzy.
But anyway, back to the synopsis. I think we started the synopsis.
No, we barely did. It was right. It's continuing this really, really. I don't know whose idea was it to make Peter's father somehow connected to Oscorp and this whole.
No, don't care.
I don't care.
This is really, I didn't care.
This was all of this was not care. Like, Peter's father was involved in Oscorp, and they were trying to cure cancer using spider venom. Movie logic, okay. And then he finds out that, oh no, they're going to turn spider venom into
biological warfare.
Oh no! And then I raised my voice about it, but they said no, and so they tried to frame me for trying to escape the country. So I better put my lab in an abandoned subway tunnel, stuff my calculator full of old...
Roosevelt used to went to hide his polio...
What? There was this.
And there was a little Tron scene where he sticks the token in, and
where Andrew Garfield sticks a token into an old subway turnstile, and then like the subway platform opens up, and a subway train rises up, and it is filled with Peter's dad's old. Well, I say old, but it's like 15-year-old Sony products.
Yeah.
Sony product, the movies. I love this fact. Like the movie began with basically Peter's dad trying to upload a file using 2000s technology, like early 2000s. Yeah. So if this movie was set in 2014, as it was, the movie was set in 2014, and Peter is old enough to go to college.
Yeah.
So that means that he would have had to. That would have been at least early 2000s, if not late 90s, and somehow they had Ethernet capability.
Yes.
Ethernet capability to. On a plane, mind you. On a fucking plane. He uploaded a file on his laptop. On his Sony Vaio laptop, which is important. On a Sony Vaio laptop, he uploaded it from his plane to a secret fucking laboratory in the subway.
That's because they had secret knowledge.
It's
because they had developments that we didn't know about then.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. So Peter goes into the platform and the train rather, and he goes into the train, and the computer is now like 15 years old by now, and it's still waiting someone to accept the file
It's
that they just
still
uploaded.
got the
Like-
file downloaded sign with the bar.
It says file download complete, and he opens the file, and it's a video file where he basically explains everything. Like,
Yeah. Apparently, the last thing anybody did in there happened to be when he sent that file. That was it.
I know. And so, in his home office, he recorded a video message on a webcam. In 2000? And it was
honestly, it felt like it was earlier than 2000.
I know, but
Because I mean, the computer looked like a freaking DOS or something. It was the big box computer, you know.
Yeah, I know, but it was like a white dot. It was like a white, it was like a white tower. It's like a compact. You know, compacts because compacts. You know, there's no reason why a compact couldn't be in this.
Sure, but he's putting up the video, and he gives he says everything that you need to know.
Like, hey,
Gives the plot through the webcam.
well, like but here's the thing, like everything he correlates, like everything he reveals, nobody gives a shit because doesn't have anything to do with what's going on. And the only thing that's going on really is Jamie Foxx falls into a vat of eels and now wants attention for himself, and Spider-Man doesn't give him no attention, so he's mad. So I'm gonna get you, Spider-Man. And Harry Osborn, coming out of fucking nowhere, by the way. He wasn't in the first movie.
I didn't see the first movie.
He was not in the first movie. Harry Osborn comes out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah.
Says, like, you know, like, Peter, my old friend.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So when Peter talks about...
I just assumed that they had established the
No.
relationship in the first movie.
No, they didn't. So
Well, that just makes the scene even better.
I know, it does. So when, like, Peter's talking about Harry as his best friend, like, yeah, he's your best friend that you have not mentioned or have seen in the last 10 years.
No wonder their dialogue was so awkward.
I don't. It's like, hey, Peter, have you discovered masturbation yet?
Yeah.
It's the greatest thing.
And if you tie it and you don't let it go for a while, you can pop it later and it's gonna be... You use it for hair gel. That's how I got my flat. How you been, Peter?
Do you use the other hand, Peter?
You gotta keep them separate. You gotta keep them both strong.
God.
I-
All I'll say is, you better beware my right hook. But no, like, he comes out of nowhere in the movie. He visits what's his name? Gary Cooper. He visits Gary Cooper's Norman Osborn, and Norman Osborn's just like, you're a failure. You had so much potential. And then this is where the note perfect, or not note perfect, but like this is where the performance that is Dane DeHaan ekes out. He sees, like, you had so much potential. It's like, you wasted it. And Dane DeHaan goes, you wasted me.
Oh yes, and cue the Brokeback Mountain
It was like,
song.
okay. No, you don't cue the Brokeback Mountain song until like this skipping stones scene.
Yes.
Yeah, like Peter Parker and Harry Osborn skip stones in Central Park.
Yep. They talk about hairstyles, and they talk about
hairstyles. They talk about, you know, like whether they got girlfriends or not. Or...
It was really inflicted.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, God, it's hilarious. I haven't laughed like that in a while.
Yeah, God. And but from there, it's revealed that Harry Osborn has a disease and inherited disease and needs Spider-Man's blood.
Oh yeah,
as
his dad, his dying dad, tells him that the disease runs in the genes. It's the curse.
It's the curse of the
Osborn
curse of the Osborns.
And then he pulls a little cube thing out of his ass and gives it to him.
And apparently, this cube, when you slam it on the table, gives up a bunch of information.
Yeah, so what happened when you had to use the restroom is that he He's been holding this thing for a long time, trying to figure out, like,
Yeah.
Rubik's Cube, how this thing works. So he drops it accidentally. Oops! Lands perfectly on the little square on the table, and then it lights up.
Oh, you gotta be shitting me.
Yeah.
Ah.
It falls right into the right area.
Oh, it falls into the recess on the table. Oh, perfect!
It was like little electrical square around it. It's like, oh,
This is perfect.
this isn't this convenient?
Dad, you are a scamp.
You dirty dog, you.
We had so much more fun with this movie than there was fun in this movie.
Yeah, I know.
So he figures out that he needs Spider-Man's blood because Spider-Man is supposedly the only living tissue sample of the spiders that they made back in the first movie. And apparently Spider-Man is just like, no, because my blood could be damaging to you. It could kill you or do worse. And Harry Osborn.
It's like, you can't kill me any deader than I'm going to be.
It's like, it could be worse. And then, I'm sorry. I gotta go.
I'm sorry, but there's other stuff could happen. Like, I mean, he doesn't want to. I don't want to say it, but you could turn into a supervillain.
And then he zips out the window, and then Harry Osborn's like, "I thought you were supposed to help people. You're a fraud.
You don't give hope. You take it away. You eat it. You thrive on the hope of others."
So from there, he decides to team up with Electro to punish Spider-Man and to also wrangle the secret base in Oscorp, where apparently they're keeping all the would-be materials for the upcoming Secret Six movie. And
yeah, they flashed a X-Men commercial at the end.
Oh yeah, like
for the mid-credits sneak.
Yep.
There was a big metal X door thing, and it was like, oh, really?
Really?
I thought that this was not allowed.
Well, like, I don't know.
And it wasn't allowed. It was just an X-Men preview for Days of Future Past.
I think it was supposed to be Days of Future Past, but I don't know. It could be for something else. I'm thinking that's like a Secret Six teaser, but it probably would.
It had nothing to do with Spider-Man.
It had nothing to do with Spider-Man, which is weird to me because, like, I'm guessing that was all right. It's all things considered. I think it probably is Days of Future Past, but if that is the weirdest fucking tie-in between Fox and Sony Pictures. But that's neither here nor there. So the movie ends with them fighting Electro and fighting Hobgoblin. Is it Hobgoblin or Green Goblin? They never say. I'm thinking it's supposed to be Hobgoblin.
Well, with his age,
I think
it's implied it's Hobgoblin because he.
Well, yeah, because Norman Osborn's supposed to be the Green Goblin, and then Harry Osborn's the Hobgoblin. So yeah, it's Hobgoblin. But here's
Dane DeFon, man. It's Dane DeFon Goblin.
Dane DeHaan.
Dane DeHaan. I keep wanting to say Fawn. Why is that?
Because he's so fun.
Because I'm fawning on.
Because we're fawning on Dane DeHaan.
We're fawning on Dane DeHaan.
But no, and here is the big twist. All right, spoilers. Gwen Stacy dies. If you are any sort of nerd, you know that Gwen Stacy needs to bite the bullet because that's her only redeeming character moment. It was more emotional baggage for Peter.
Probably my favorite moment in the movie.
Yeah, because she dies in the famous comic book way. Well, not really. Well, in the comic books, Spider-Man tries to save Gwen Stacy by catching her. She was falling, and he tries catching her by her heel to stop her falling, but he catches her too soon. No, too late, and the tensile strength of the web basically jerks her head back, and it breaks her neck from the whiplash, and that's how she dies. Here, he manages same thing. She's falling, and he catches her, but he doesn't catch her in time, and her force catches her back, and her head basically smacks against the ground with all due force, and she's dead.
And no blood. But...
No, blood come out of her nose.
Out of her nose, but
No,
There might have been some impact
like
damage
yeah,
there, but,
seriously, like
no.
if something actually happened, like that floor would have been just
Yeah.
caked like it was a Gallagher concert.
Yeah.
Just filled with like watermelon rind and red jelly.
Yeah, of course, they wouldn't take it that far, but
Although
they had the balls to let her die, but, in a way that was
No, there
not
was
quite,
No. This decision did not have balls. This just no, like this was always meant to happen. Like they'd have more balls if they kept Gwen Stacy and then had Mary Jane come into the picture in the inevitable trilogy in the inevitable next movie that's going to come out. I mean, that would have more balls than what they did, because that was, like I said, that Gwen Stacy exists to be killed.
See, I don't know. I haven't read much, so
And
of the Spider-Man comics. So,
but it happens, and then Andrew Garfield's like, "I'm a sad Spider-Man. Why does everyone close to me have to die? Why?
because you steal hope and you shit it out.
You're a mean man, Hobgoblin. You're a mean man."
I want to go skip some stones and talk about past love and hair.
I don't have a girlfriend anymore, so...
Really?
Our wands contain the same phoenix tail. And then the movie ends with Spider-Man saying, "You know what? I should continue to keep being Spider-Man, because if I'm not Spider-Man, who am I? Peter Parker. Nobody likes Peter Parker."
I know I don't. Not this one.
And then Rhino comes back. It's like, "Spider-Man! Hello!"
I'm right here!
They fight. The end. God damn this movie.
Yeah.
I would
Might
like...
have freaking Rhino throwing stones up at his window.
Spider-Man! Dink! Spider-Man! Dink! What? Come on, play! Spider-Man! But as I said before, I was expecting way worse with this movie. I was expecting to be insufferable, and it wasn't insufferable, which I know isn't the kindest thing to say about it, but it's true.
On the whole, I just found it hilarious. It was a good laugh.
It was a good laugh.
Watch this thing for Dane DeHaan. That was good.
Watch this for Dane DeHaan's
comedic masterpiece.
It is. It really is. Dane DeHaan's performance saves this movie. It makes it a movie at least worth watching, worth suffering through Andrew Garfield's performance. Dane DeHaan's performance is so good, it makes up for Andrew Garfield's performance.
Absolutely.
It is... that is the highest praise I can give this movie. Otherwise, it's a train wreck.
Yeah.
I mean, not that it isn't a train wreck, but this is the difference between a train wreck that crashes into an orphanage versus a train wreck that crashes into a fireworks factory. You're hoping for the fireworks. And you get the fireworks, and it's glorious.
Oh, yeah.
But
so many memes can be made from are going to be, I'm sure. Look forward to seeing them.
Me too. But I think that's we covered all the bases. Really,
that's all I got.
I was expecting us to talk about like Amazing Spider-Man 2 for like hours.
I was not expecting to,
but I was not
or talk all about freaking Hobgoblin. I didn't.
No, yeah, I know, but that's the power of Dane DeHaan.
Yeah.
Oh,
made a fan out of me.
To you, Dane DeHaan. Till next time.